Hi guys, today I have something a little different but also very special and very near and dear to my heart. So if you're not aware, February is American Heart Month. So the National Association of Heart Disease decided that February would be the month to focus and bring awareness to cardiovascular health conditions and illnesses. So and the way that that pertains to me is that, as most of you know, I do have lupus. Lupus attacks any organ, tissue, muscles, all around. So with me, I was diagnosed with hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy back in 2012 before I was even diagnosed with lupus officially. So hopefully through this makeup story time, y'all know I love makeup, and makeup is just the way that I like to communicate with people and through people. But hopefully from this story time, you'll kind of gain a little knowledge and understand my experience and just like my journey with heart disease and how lupus can affect the heart, as well as many other things as well. You guys see that this is so funny, but I was determined to find something red just for this video, and just because red is the color for dedicated to heart awareness in this month. But I could not find anything red. So I had this dress, which is kind of like red. It's kind of like pink. It may be magenta. I have no idea. And my red earrings that I decided to choose for today. But I just hope that you guys learn a lot from this video. If you didn't know how lupus affects the heart, and you didn't know that February was National Heart Awareness Month, now you know. And I just hope that from this video, maybe you could learn how to advocate for others who may be dealing with heart disease and just focus on cardiovascular health for this month. Okay guys, so first and foremost, excuse the hair, okay? I was trying to go for like this curly, wild, free, like the Tori Kelly, like curl bob, wild look. To me, it looks cuter in person, but on camera, it's just not that very photogenic. So please excuse that. Secondly, I was trying to wear red. I went out last night and went looking for like a red top or red dress to TJ Maxx. Couldn't find a thing, so I had to get this dress out of the closet that I bought from Versona. And I don't know if it's red, I don't know if it's pink, I don't know if it's magenta. It's somewhere right there on the line. So I'm gonna wear this. Also, we all know pink kind of comes into play with Valentine's Day in February and the month of love and all of that. So I think I'm just gonna do a look that's kind of like a blend of two, pink and red. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, y'all, so I've already prepped my face. I've already primed my face. I've already set my setting spray. I've done my eyebrows. I tweezed my eyebrows a little bit, so I think that it helped me a little bit more with filling in and shaping for today. So we'll get started. So it's story time, and I'm going to try. I'm so bad at multitasking, so I'm going to try to do my makeup and do this story time, like a makeup story time at the same time. But again, I am bad at like multitasking. So story time of when I was first diagnosed with like heart disease. So this is 2012. I can never remember if I was a sophomore in college or a junior. I'm thinking sophomore, but y'all, I'm getting to that age where I'm a little older now, so I'm bad with the timing of things. But it's 4/20 of 2012, and 4/20, some of you guys probably already know what that represents, but we'll get into that a little later. So I have had like heart palpitations and just like things like that for years, like as long as I can remember. Definitely since probably middle school. Like anytime I was exerting myself or outside in the heat or anything like that, just doing anything physical, pretty much working out. I would just start having like these heart palpitations and just like this really, really uncomfortable feeling. Well, this particular night, I'm like in bed, watching like TV or something. And I used to always think that I was just like having anxiety or like something like that. Well, this particular night, it was like really, really, really bad. So I like talked to my parents, my grandparents, like just like trying to figure out what everyone thought maybe I should do. About like this uncomfortable feeling that just didn't go away. So they got me to go to the emergency room. So again, I was still in college, so at this point I had never been in the hospital for anything outside of, I think, I went to the ER once for like a car accident or whatever in high school. But outside of that, I had never been to like the hospital for anything really. So I was like a little nerve wracked just about going somewhere like that, like without my parents, without really knowing what's going on, you know. So my roommate, which my bestie Melody, who's from Polk County, like I am, she wasn't in Fort Myers that weekend. So if you don't know, I went to college at Fort Myers at FGCU, and Melody and I had been roommates since our sophomore year in college until our senior year in college. So she wasn't home. We had this other roommate, Stephanie, who was a little, like a few years older than us. I think she was in a grad program or something there, but she was our roommate. So I was just like, Stephanie, can you please take me to the ER? Like, I don't know if I'm having an anxiety attack. Like, my heart, my chest, like, things are just feeling funny. I don't know really what's going on. So Stephanie takes me to the emergency room. It really wasn't a long wait. Like, I don't remember it being like this really weird and like god awful, like, time being there. Nothing like that. She takes me, and they run tests, of course, and like do all of that stuff. And y'all, like, never in a million years would I have thought that anything would have been questionable about my heart, or just like none of that. Like, my mind just was not there at all. They do some testing, and then they find out that my troponin levels were elevated. I'm not a doctor, y'all. Some of this stuff is still like a little fuzzy about what certain things mean, but I think the troponin levels is like some kind of muscle enzymes that are released into the body when your heart or like muscles have endure like injury or like trauma. So my troponin levels like were sky high, like some other things were sky high. And the doctor obviously was just like alarmed by this. At this time, I would have been 21, 22, 21, 22. No. I would have been 20, yeah, 20 or 21, I guess. And so obviously things were just like weird. I'm like 20 or 21 at this point of time. So of course I'm not thinking that, something like this is gonna occur, or I don't even think that the doctors or nurses or anyone was expecting the information that, we were all about to come across. But the doctor came in, and it was just like such a odd like moment. It was like one of those like Lifetime movie moments. And he's like questioning me about like drugs and like all this stuff. And so earlier I talked about the date that it was 4/20. And so that's like National Weed Day or like whatever it is. And so he was like trying to make sure that I hadn't been like on drugs or like was having like an overdose, or just, it wasn't relating to something like that. And I was like, sir, like, I swear, like, I don't do drugs. Like, none of that is even happening at the time. So, he's like going on to tell me like all this other stuff and just like explaining these troponin levels and like some other elevated results from the blood tests and stuff that I had to take, and I was like, yo, like, pump your brakes. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you call my parents? And then I'm just gonna, again, I said I'm so bad at multitasking. So I'm going to start my foundation, which I'm kind of excited about this foundation because I've never tried this before. This is NARS, and it's the Radiant Longwear Foundation. I wear this in Venetu. I have no idea how to pronounce this, but it's medium 3.5. And yeah, so I'm excited about this. Everyone says that the baddies wear this makeup. It seems a little thin in the bottle, but we'll see what it's about. So I'm gonna do that. And then I got these samples of the lightweight foundation. It's in the same shade. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna finish where I left off. Sorry guys, it's so awkward. So I make the doctor call my parents. And it's so funny like to hear my mom tell this story because she was like at home. I think she was putting like a perm on her hair or like putting a color on her hair, like something, when all of this was going down. Of course, I'm sure my mom's like not expecting to hear any of this information as well, but this is the information that we were coming across. So he tells them like what's going on. My parents come down, of course. At this time, it's like 11 or 12 in the morning. Yeah, maybe like 10, 11, 12. And so they have to drive. Like Fort Myers is 2.5 hours away from home. So they had to like find somewhere for my siblings to go. They were still, you know, in elementary, middle school age. So they had to find somewhere for them to go. And then they made it down there. So I don't really know what type of maybe knowledge or experience that whoever is watching knows about heart disease or like diagnosis with heart issues or anything like that. But one of the first things that they're going to do is have you do a heart cath. And so what a heart cath is, it's a procedure where they go in through one of the main arteries is right next to like your groin femur area. They put you to sleep, of course, and they go in with like this little microscopic camera. And y'all, I'm so sorry, but I'm having issues pumping the foundation out of here. But they go in with a microscopic camera and they go through that artery and they just like take pictures and capture like video footage of what's going down in there. And when I was finished with that procedure and the pictures and images and videos came back, they said that, you know, it didn't seem like anything alarming was going on with my heart, but they saw where I had like thickening of the muscles and there was some inflammation in the chest area. So at the time, let's erase the lens of knowing that I have lupus, which we know that lupus is a autoimmune disease that attacks organs, muscles, tissues in the body. This was 2012, so this was before my lupus diagnosis, which I was not diagnosed with lupus until 2015. So they tell me that this inflammation, this thickening of the heart muscles is more than likely due to some type of like respiratory infection or illness, something like that. I don't know any different, so of course I'm gonna take them from what they say, you know. I stay in the hospital for like 3-4 days. Mind you, at this time, this is April, so this is when we were starting our finals, I think, for spring semester. And I had to literally complete finals while I was in the hospital bed at 20, 21 years old, while people are thinking that I'm having a heart attack. Okay, so that was just like the craziest probably week of my life, which I say is the craziest, but it's literally not even the craziest. Just at the time, it was the craziest week of my life. But little did I know, like, I had so much more in store coming, throughout the years. So, just to touch on that, you guys know from a certain aspect, like, I'm just going to give you raw and realness, but I learned one of my greatest lessons through that time. And I'm going to pause because I am going to incorporate something else here into my So I am going to go in with a little contour. I'm using the Zambia shade by Juvia's Place. And then I also always touch up with this by Too Faced. And it's the dark chocolate bronzer. But I was talking about life lessons. And one of my biggest life lesson through that experience in the hospital, which back to a little backstory. So I guess I can confirm that I was definitely a sophomore at the time, because I also realized that at the time I had to move out of the apartment. So not only did I have, it was spring finals. Also what was going on was that this was before the apartment complex bought out my apartment. So at the time it was still considered dorms. So if you've never been to college, maybe you don't know this, but if you have, you know that you have to literally move out of your dorm room like each semester. So I also was responsible for moving out of my dorm room during this time. This was like the end of the semester. So I was, again, 20, 21 years old, having to write papers and finish like all of my exams for the semester while I was in the hospital. Mind you, I had spoken and reached out to my professors and everything like that, but it just goes to show you, like, it doesn't matter what happens or like what you're going through, like, you still just have to perform. Like, I was still responsible for completing all of those things and just finishing my classes. I couldn't just say, well, I'm in the hospital. At the time, they didn't really know what was going on with me, but I couldn't just like cop out and just be like, I'm sick or this is going on and I'm not going to complete college. Like, I had to figure it out. So I finished my exams, y'all. I don't know how I did it. One teacher, I cannot remember what course or subject it was, but I remember she was this sweet little like Asian lady. I think it might have been a communication course. I don't know if it was interpersonal communication or like some kind of communication course. And she allowed me, her test was going to be in person, like sit down in person. And she allowed me to come in at a later date after I got out of the hospital to complete that test. And that was so sweet of her. I wish I knew her name, but I don't remember her name. But yeah, so guys, you just have to move on. Like, I know, listen, things really, really get hard. Like, I couldn't even imagine like having to go through that again. Like, I don't even know how I dealt with that stuff and still like just made a way for myself. But when you're just caught in that moment, you just have to make it work. And I had to make it work, y'all. Like, I didn't have any excuses to give. So not only that, with the apartment situation, I was fined because obviously I couldn't move out of the apartment at the time that the deadline that they gave us. So I was like fined and everything. It was just a big old mess. But I just wanted to leave y'all just with that little, that little pep talk, because I know sometimes it can just be easy to be like, oh, like this is going on, and you can like justify not showing up for different things because of X, Y, and Z. But the reality of the situation that no matter what you're going through in life, like life is still just gonna carry on. So you have to carry on with it, unfortunately. So hopefully y'all take something from that. Okay, so before I kind of do this, because for some reason with my skin, the concealer, it just dries so bad under the eye. So I'm just gonna go in and it's almost like painting, like you have to create that sharpness here underneath the eye. Okay. So you guys know about the story in 2012 of the hospital stay there at the hospital. That was like my first stay, my first introduction to maybe having like these heart issues. So let's go to now. Well, fast forward, like I live life normally, whatever. Let's now go to 2014, where I was following up with cardiology, probably like yearly, still trying to figure out like what is going on, looking more into this diagnosis that I was receiving, but not really understanding like what exactly was the issue, what did I have. So I went up to Orlando Health, and they scheduled for me to do this electrophysiology study. What happens is they go in again, it's almost like a heart cath, but when they go in, they spark up some stuff. They spark up, I don't know, something with the electrophysiology part of the heart. If it sparks up, that means that you have one diagnosis. If it doesn't, that kind of means you don't have this diagnosis, but it still kind of means we don't know what's going on. So they did that, and thankfully, my heart didn't like spark up. So that meant that I didn't have, and I can't remember exactly what they were trying to diagnose me with. So that was like in November of 2014. I just took it for what it was. At that time, they just diagnosed me with what's called hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. So for abbreviation, it's called HOCM, HOCM. So from that time, I just like took the diagnosis and I just went on about my way. Like I don't really know what more I was supposed to do, with that information. Other than they just told me that I would probably need like cardiac clearance like every year or whatever. So I did that. But as we all know, I was then diagnosed with lupus in September of 2015. So with that diagnosis, I experienced a lot of things. I was told a lot of things, given a lot of conflicting information about the diagnosis itself and about other things that I could have possibly had. And that kind of leads me into this next kind of TED Talk or topic of just learning through experience. And one thing that I always discuss, whether I'm doing like my own awareness efforts through like my lupus walks or my lupus brunch, is patient advocacy. Like I cannot stress that enough, because after being diagnosed with lupus officially and having like heart palpitations, so again, with lupus, it attacks organs, muscles, tissue, anything. And lupus was attacking my heart in the sense of it was causing me to have like these fake mock heart attacks. And it caused me to go to the hospital like numerous of times. So I was having like heart palpitations, and my body was literally mimicking like symptoms you would have from a person who was having a heart attack. With that being said, I had to go to these cardiologists and specialists, different cardiology specialists. And I remember speaking to this cardiologist in Lakeland at Watson Clinic. And this man was trying to tell me that I needed a defibrillator. And in my soul, like I will always tell people to listen to what your intuition says. Because in my soul, like even back in the day, like I've always known something just was not right when it came to my health. But I knew I did not need a defibrillator. Like I knew that my issues with my heart were just caused by lupus, and those symptoms were just, one of the side effects and symptoms of what I was going through in the moment. And I was like, no, like, get out of here. And like the guy, I kid you not, like he was like upset. Like he was upset that me and my mom were even questioning whether I needed the defibrillator. He was like questioning, why we weren't, in agreement with him about this. So we just let it go. Like I went to another cardiologist, and she was like, she listened to me. She did like these other tests. She did a stress test, and through the years, like she's figured out that like nothing is really, I can't say nothing is wrong with my heart, but my heart condition does not stem from other like aspects like obesity or blood pressure or any of those like factors. My heart condition and my symptoms were literally just stemming from inflammation and thickening of the heart muscles due to it being attacked by lupus, the autoimmune concept of it. So one thing I want to preach is just standing up for yourself. Like no matter what doctors say, doctors don't know everything. Stand up for yourself. If something doesn't sound right, does something just doesn't fit right with your spirit or your intuition, don't do it. Just don't. Don't be ignorant, and don't be stubborn. If you know you have these issues, don't just be like, oh, well, I don't want to do it. That's different. I'm talking about something completely different. Always get a second opinion on something that just doesn't seem right and go from there. But just don't do something that you want to please the doctor just because they say it's true. That doesn't make what's happening true just because a doctor says it is. So always get a second opinion, always stand up for yourself, always advocate for yourself. If you don't learn anything else from me, please learn that. You guys had me really preaching. I got kind of out of the fact that I was actually doing my makeup. So I went in with a little bit of Airspun baking, and I'm not much of like a baker. I don't bake a lot, but I'm trying, and I do love like the sleek look of the cut from bronzer to bake. I'm just gonna warm the bronzer up just a little bit. I always have to get under the neck. Always gotta get under the neck, guys. Okay. You guys know I love, love, love the Sephora Micro Smooth. I talk about this in every single video. But I just go in with a little bit of powder just to even things out so that the cut from the baking and the bronzing just doesn't look so sharp, like it doesn't look like white powder. So I always just go in with that. Also, I mentioned my dress is kind of like a pinky red. So what earrings should I wear? I got these from Amazon. I wore these on my 30th birthday dinner. Should I wear these? Or should I wear these? I think I like the red ones better. So we're gonna go for the red ones today. So you guys are probably like, well, how am I doing today? Or like, how does, HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, how does it affect me today? Like how is my life like dealing with heart disease? And the truth is that I'm okay. You know, I dealt with these things, as we know, with lupus. You can be down one day and you can be up the next. And the truth of the matter is just that at that time, for whatever reason, lupus decided to attack, you know, the heart organ. And I have been dealing with this since 2012, and now it's just not an issue for me, thank God. I go to a cardiologist once a year, and to be honest, I don't even know if I went to my cardiologist last year. Like, that's how much it just doesn't affect me now. I am actively trying to push another diagnosis, and I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe that'll have to be a video of its own, but I think that my heart issues are actually coming from a little bit of something else. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. But again, like, you know, I've been seeing cardiologists through the years, and they think that generally I'm okay. You know, the lupus issues were causing this, and as of now, it's just not this huge, you know, deal for me. So I'm just gonna stick with that, and I'm gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna keep up with seeing someone yearly, and yeah, so everything is gonna be okay. I'm just gonna keep up with seeing someone yearly, and I think that if even whoever, why ever you're dealing with heart issues or heart disease, it doesn't mean that it's any kind of death wish. It doesn't mean that, you know, you have to live life differently. And maybe you do, but I think with anything in life, you learn to kind of apply these different life lessons to yourself and figure out like what your next steps are. And, you know, I've learned through the years to just use what I'm going through to process. Actually, there's a lot of different emotions that come with being diagnosed with any type of illness, but I've used what I'm now going through to help other people. So if you are going through heart disease, I do encourage you to find a healthy way to reach other people and to figure out how to help other people, because it's really a relief. It truly, truly is, just to help other people, whether it's finding a diagnosis, whatever it is. It can be really, really, it's just really, really special. It's just really, really special to be able to make a difference in people's life. So with that being said, you know, I hope from this video you kind of learn a few things, you know, just about heart disease in general, the way that lupus affects the heart. And also, I hope that you now know, if you didn't know, about February being American Heart Disease Awareness Month. Now you know, and I recommend or suggest you to reach out and see like how you can help or how you can spread more information, because it can affect a lot of different people, and it affects people for a lot of different ways. So with that being said, I hope that you can also take a few of the things that we talked about today and just realize, again, whatever you're dealing with, when it comes to issues with your health, always be an advocate for yourself. Advocate, advocate, advocate for yourself. Don't listen to just one thing that someone has to say about the situation at hand. Always get a second opinion. Again, if something just doesn't feel right, always listen to that. You know, your intuition is going to tell you, it's not going to steer you wrong most of the time, but make sure you're listening to your intuition and you're not listening to something else, because sometimes we be listening to other stuff and be swearing it be our intuition. So I am just going to finish up my eyes. So guys, I'm going to go in. This is like my new favorite blush with Juvia's Place. You guys have seen my You guys have seen like how I've really messed up using too much blush. I think it was a few videos ago, but it's a really, really pretty blush. Very feminine and just girly and cute. So just gonna put a little bit more of that on. And it works just fine. You just have to like pout it out. Yeah. Once you do that, it's really pretty. But I'm enjoying these story times. I have a few tricks up my sleeve with these story times. Again, it's fun just to like practice my makeup and just have the little story times with you guys as well. And hopefully not only can I give you, you know, insight from Heart Disease Month, but I can give you a few little more insights on some other like awareness months when it comes to like the other organs and that lupus has kind of affected. So stay tuned. And as always, y'all, just let me know what you guys are interested in. Like, I think I may do a few like question and answer ones on my next video. So don't forget, always like, share, comment, subscribe, send me questions. I'm open to answering anything. I just love, like, it's been a long journey, don't get me wrong, but I just love just helping others and just allowing you guys to, you know, just be open to what I'm going through. And if that's gonna help the next person, I love that. I'm like not too thrilled about pink lips. We'll see. Let's see here. This is MAC Please Me. This is a really, really pretty, like super pretty feminine color. I'm digging this. I like this. And then this is Kylie Boy Bye, period. Boy Bye. Okay, so this is a little bit of a darker tone. Okay, so let me show you guys my dress. Again, it's not like, I don't really know if it's pink. I don't know if it's red. It's whatever, but it's super cute. I got it from Versona. I'm liking the pink and red. It's giving very Valentine's, giving very month of love.